First and foremost, happy Thanksgiving to my fight fans out there. Welcome back to another episode of Combat and Kick It. Yo, it's Thanksgiving. Give thanks. Have some good times with some family. Eat some good food. Enjoy. Don't argue with people. Don't debate about politics. Don't be cutting people off after this family event. Unless you're about to argue about fights. Argue about them fights. We got some violence to break down and talk about. So let's get into this Petr Yan recap because this man looked like a champion again. Let's get into it. Let's go. How about that motherfucking intro? Welcome back to another episode. It's your boy Bando. You already know. Petr Yan looked like an absolute monster this past weekend. What a performance. I have to give a huge shout out to Petr Yan and a huge shout out to Deiveson Figueiredo and a huge shout out to the UFC for putting on this 6 a.m. card that was absolutely just fun as fuck to watch. I don't know why it was so fun to watch. Dope knockouts, up and comers, and you're up at 6 in the morning watching the fights. Just you're not something you're used to, right? I'm up at 7 in the morning getting ready for work most of the time. You wake up a little bit earlier, you throw on some fights. Way different of a vibe. It was a great vibe, and the card was just fantastic. Dope knockout from Muslim Salikov with that spinning heel kick. Very rare when you see somebody land the heel directly on the chin, and he did. So that was a really dope knockout. Obviously KO of the night. But I am here to talk about that main event because that main event was a phenomenal performance on Petr Yan's end. Petr Yan took full control. In every aspect of the fight, when he started to get going, he was not going to be stopped. If you looked at my breakdown, if you watched it at all, the breakdown stated that I believe Deiveson Figueiredo was able to get a win. He could have got a win. I was thinking early in the fight, while they're dry, Deiveson Figueiredo might be able to sink a submission. And you saw early in the fight, he was trying to work the ground game a little bit. He got Petr Yan down. He couldn't keep him down though. Yan's defense is strong. He has great defense. But I was weary about his defense if someone was able to get his back. And I thought Deiveson Figueiredo was going to be able to get his back. And he almost did. But great defense by Petr Yan in the first round. The big difference maker in this fight was those leg kicks that Petr Yan was throwing. Those front little snappy leg kicks, right? He was hitting Deiveson Figueiredo with those every single time. If you watch Deiveson Figueiredo, a lot of the times he's not a bouncy fighter. He's very flat-footed. He's flat-footed, but he has so much power and he's so quick that it's okay. It doesn't negatively affect him, but it does when you're getting kicked in the legs, right? And anytime he tried to check, he would check a couple and he would also, pull away from a couple, but for the most part, Petr Yan was landing those leg kicks. And that was the first, thing that Petr Yan was using to just break him down. So the leg kicks were there. Body kicks were there. Making Deiveson Figueiredo drop the hands a bit. Now, Figgy was landing some good shots. Landing some nice overhand rights. Landing some lefts. But the problem is, Figgy was overthrowing all of his shots. He does that a lot. If he's not landing that insanely powerful right hand down the middle and you slip that right hand down the middle, he's overthrowing that right hand down the middle. And that's not a guy, Petr Yan's not a guy you want to make that mistake against, right? He's going to make you pay every single time. His striking is it's not unique or anything like that. It's simple striking. It's so clean. It almost looks like he truly tried to perfect every aspect of striking. He does not have much wasted movement. He's good on both stances. He switches stances consistently. His leg kicks are good. Body kicks are good. Knees are good. Good work from the clinch. And also, vintage Petr Yan style with the freaking trip. Throwing Deiveson Figueiredo down with that dope-ass trip was vintage Petr Yan, and I think it is time for us to talk about Petr Yan getting that rematch with Merab. The first loss that Petr Yan had that was a BS loss was the Sean O'Malley loss, and a lot of people are like, oh, they should do that rematch. Fuck that noise. Petr Yan won that fight. Simple as that, right? The decision didn't go to him because they wanted Sean O'Malley in the position simply to be the guy to take the belt off of Aljo, right? They got him in the position. And he executed the game plan perfectly. He became champion. But then Merab completely rained on the UFC's entire parade and worked him for 5 rounds. Three rounds, I would say. He didn't do a ton, but he was working him, taking him down a lot, controlling the fight. But with Petr Yan, he shot on Petr Yan 40-something times. Petr stuffed 30-something of those. I think that performance that we saw Saturday night from Petr can beat Merab. I see Merab as a very, very skilled 135er. Very strong, very durable. Obviously, cardio is insane. But a lot of holes. A lot of holes. And Petr Yan is the fighter who likes to take advantage of any hole that you have. He's taking his opportunities. Man, that sounded so wrong. Pause. But he sees the opportunities. He takes them. He don't play no games. If he sees it, he's taking it. He lands good punches. He'll work the body. He makes adjustments each and every round, right? He's not trying to look flashy or cool when he throws the spinning shit. It's part of the adjustments. It throws guys off. You watch the fight against Corey Sandhagen. He was throwing the spinning stuff. That was definitely throwing Corey Sandhagen off because it was powerful spinning stuff. Petr Yan's extremely skilled when it comes to being able to mix up the striking as well, right? A lot of people think it's just Muay Thai, but you can see him mix it up between boxing, Muay Thai, kickboxing, right? He puts it all together. Now, a lot of people were talking about this fight and saying that if Deiveson Figueiredo gets this win, he's #1 contender. Merab was saying if Deiveson Figueiredo gets this win, he's #1 contender. And that would have been an interesting fight too, because we know Deiveson Figueiredo's skill set on the ground, and Merab was definitely going to take this fight to the ground. Big possibility that Deiveson Figueiredo could have done something. But the thing about Figgy is he has to work on that cardio. He has to work on that cardio. I'm surprised some of the shots that Petr landed didn't knock him out because he was breathing out of his mouth from the 3rd round on. Right? He was pretty gassed out, and it's understandably so. He had a very high-paced first round with the wrestling, trying to hold Petr Yan down. That takes a lot. Petr Yan's a strong dude, so it takes a lot. Right? So he had a very, strenuous first round. You get into the 2nd round, Petr Yan's starting to open up a little bit. By the 3rd round, it just looked like Figgy was already gassing out, and you can't gas out against Petr Yan. Petr Yan's going to pick you apart. The thing about him is if he starts picking you apart, he's going to pick you apart the whole time. It's very hard to get the adjustments over him, right? He's a tough fighter to change. And Figgy had a decent 5th round and knocked him down in the 5th round, right? So it shows that power still carries all the way through 5. A lot of bantamweights on Saturday night would not have been able to stand across from either of those fighters. They were cracking with some powerful shots. I'm surprised neither one of them actually went out cold. I'm truly shocked. I thought there was going to be a finish in that fight. But fantastic win by Petr Yan. That's #1 contender. That's the fucking seed. What's my man Joey Diaz say? That's the seed. Who else do you want to see Merab fight? Umar? The fuck out of here. One, that man could have had the title shot on lock, chose to take a fight with Song Yadong. So, respect to him, right? Fighting more top guys, proving himself more, right? People just want to rush that name because it's a Nurmagomedov, right? They just want to rush that to the title shot. Let him continue to build. Let him continue to build, continue to prove. Yeah, he got that win against Corey Sandhagen, and people were not that impressed. Like, it was a good win, but people were not that impressed because the performance wasn't that exciting or anything like that. And in my opinion, that was one of the worst versions of Corey that I've seen. He did not look like himself that night, looked flat-footed, wasn't switching stances, wasn't moving much, wasn't throwing the leg kicks. That's a whole nother episode, a whole nother conversation. But, yeah, I don't want to see Umar. I want to see Petr Yan get that fight. It's a great rematch to make because now it would be for a title. So book that shit, UFC. Don't fucking play no games. Book that shit. And yes, I'm cussing a lot more on this show. You know why? Because I ain't famous. They ain't got me monetized or whatever the fuck it's called. So I'm just going to swear as much as I want. No, I'm playing. I'm Italian, so sometimes, it's not a bad word. It's emphasis. I That's all it is. It's emphasis. I'm Italian. It's emphasis. I'm just putting emphasis on a fantastic fucking performance by Petr Yan. But overall, yeah, good performance. Good performance by Yan Xiaonan too. I was hoping that Tabitha Ricci can come in there and do it, but she just, like I said, there's the Weili Zhang level, and Yan Xiaonan's below that, and Tabitha Ricci is below that. So, unfortunately, she couldn't get it done. But a great performance by Yan Xiaonan. So, the Yans, if you bet the Yans, if you parlayed the Yans, I think I mentioned parlay the Yans. I'm almost positive I said parlay the Yans. I said if you want a big bet, right, you want to throw like $5 down, win maybe like $80, you're going to bet on Davis and Figueiredo by submission. You want a lock, you're going to go with Yan and Yan by decision. You're welcome. If you bet that, you're welcome. Because guess what? I didn't. That's it for this episode. You know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification button so you know when the next episode is out. And like I said at the beginning of this episode, happy Thanksgiving. I'll catch you guys on the next episode. Peace.